You get when you stand by the ocean, that sense of connection that's kind of hard to put into words. Well, it turns out that feeling is ancient. Today, we're going to explore humanity's deep, deep relationship with water, a story that wasn't written in books, but was actually etched in stone. Let's dive in. For more than 15,000 years, human history has been completely intertwined with water. And I'm not just talking about survival, for drinking or fishing. No, it was so much more. It was the absolute center of their spiritual lives, a source of myths, and really the very fabric of their societies. So, this brings us to the big question that's going to guide us through all of this. What did our ancestors really see when they looked at the rivers, the seas, the oceans? Because I can tell you, it was a whole lot more than just H2O. To our ancestors, water wasn't just some resource to be used up. It was a living thing, a powerful entity. It was a source of meaning, religion, and the foundation of their entire worldview. A lot of these cultures have this shared idea of agua viva, or living water. It's this beautiful concept that water is deeply connected to the human spirit and to creation itself. The belief is that water isn't just essential for your physical health, but for your spiritual well-being too. And you know what? This incredible connection isn't just something from the distant past. It is alive and well today. Just look at the Inuit people, whose ancestral knowledge lets them read the sea ice like a living map. Or think about the Bajau of the Philippines, often called sea nomads. They have literally genetically adapted over generations to dive to incredible depths. Their bodies, their cultures, they're completely shaped by the ocean. The archaeological proof for this ancient bond is just mind-blowing. Out in Baja California Sur, Mexico, you can find these enormous shell middens. They're basically ancient mounds of discarded shells, leftovers from thousands of years of seaside life, and some are over 8,500 years old. These were left behind by people who lived entirely from what the sea provided. And their craftsmanship was amazing. These were not crude, simple tools. I mean, look at this. This fish hook, beautifully carved from mother of pearl, is almost 9,000 years old. But get this, archaeologists on Cedros Island found hooks that date back 13,000 years. A discovery like that completely reshapes what we thought we knew. It suggests the first Americans might have been a maritime people, following the coastline right from the start. So how did these ancient cultures make their bond with water permanent? They turned to the most enduring canvas they could find: solid rock. So let's take a quick trip around the globe to see some of this breathtaking aquatic art. We're going to start back in Mexico, home of the Great Murals. These are massive paintings that show a vibrant marine world just teeming with sea lions, turtles, and rays. And what's really cool is they often overlap with land animals, which probably symbolize that sacred connection between the two worlds. Okay, now let's head south to Peru, to the famous Nazca lines. You've probably seen pictures of the spider or the hummingbird, right? But some of the most impressive designs are actually of marine animals. This gigantic whale and others of orcas were likely seen as powerful gods by the Nazca culture. Now think about where these paintings are. This is Chile's Atacama Desert, literally one of the driest places on the entire planet. And yet, here, hundreds of kilometers from the coast, we find these stunning, perfectly preserved images of fish and dolphins. It's just powerful proof of how central the ocean was to their culture, even for people who lived so far inland. Now we'll hop across the Atlantic to northern Spain and travel back 15,000 years into the Magdalenian period. In caves like Tito Bustillo, our ancestors engraved these incredibly detailed images of marine life. You can see salmon, flounder, and even this amazing, elegant whale. Okay, so here's the crucial point. This art wasn't just for decoration. It wasn't just pretty pictures. As our source material puts it so well, these images gave structure and reality to their myths, their knowledge, and their stories. It was a way to make their histories permanent. And this connection wasn't only expressed on flat surfaces. In Antequera, Spain, you have the Dolmen de Menga. It's this massive prehistoric tomb, aligned perfectly with a sacred mountain. And right at its heart, there's a mysterious 20-meter deep well, connecting this huge structure directly to the groundwater below, a direct line to the underworld. So we've seen just how deeply connected our ancestors were to water. But this incredible legacy, which has been preserved on stone for thousands and thousands of years, is now facing a threat it has never seen before. To put it as plainly as I can, these ancient stories, which have weathered ice ages and the rise and fall of entire civilizations, are now more fragile than they have ever been. This slide is just a devastating before and after. On the left, you can see a cave painting from Pi de la Cuesta in Mexico, photographed in 1986. Now look at the images on the right. That's the same site by 2005. Rising sea levels and increased humidity caused this explosion of lichen, which almost completely wiped out this piece of history in just 2 decades. And the problem is only getting faster. Scientists are projecting a global sea level rise of at least 30 centimeters by the year 2050. Just try to imagine how many coastal heritage sites, just like the one we saw, are going to be flooded or totally destroyed. The threats are coming from all sides. It's not just the rising water itself, it's coastal erosion, it's contaminated soil, it's the growth of destructive microorganisms, like that lichen we saw. And, tragically, it's also the extinction of the very species that are shown in the art. The animals themselves are disappearing, and soon, their stories in stone might be gone too. And this isn't just a local problem. As this UNESCO map makes painfully clear, vulnerable heritage sites are dotted all across the globe. From Sulawesi to South Africa, from Mexico to Spain, our shared human story is at real risk of being washed away. It's a pretty grim picture, I know. But what if the past holds not just a warning for us, but also the key to our future? What can we learn from these ancient connections to water? And here it is. This is the final and maybe most crucial takeaway. The source material really emphasizes that the ancestral knowledge of indigenous peoples, who have been the protectors of these sacred sites for generations, offers a powerful path forward. Their traditions can teach all of us about resilience and about how to effectively manage our environment. This ancient wisdom creates such a stark contrast with our modern world. Our ancestors practiced sustainable existence. Today, we practice extractivism. They had an ecological consciousness. We're facing climate change. They had a deep spiritual connection to water. We have a global resource crisis. Their worldview is like a mirror, and it's forcing us to really reevaluate our own relationship with this planet. In the end, these ancient artists left their mark on the most enduring thing they knew: stone. Today, in what scientists call the Anthropocene, our mark is being left permanently in the water itself. So the question for us is, what story will that water tell about us thousands of years from now?